Hello. What's going on, everyone? It is me, it is Lupinefiasco. We are setting up the stream, making sure that everything is working properly. Doing this for the second stream in a row, second scheduled stream in a row. Go ahead and pop out chat here. Keep you all in my field of vision and in my heart. So, this is my first solo stream. Last week, of course. Hi, Boston. Last week we had All In Together, Rob on to give us some Pleiades reps. I'm playing as Kayo. Today I'm just going to be playing against Talishar, the world of Talishar. What are my intentions with the stream? I'm just getting reps. This list here up on the screen is what the top 8 KO from Shizuoka last weekend. The exact 80. The 80 that I had put together was 7 cards off of this. After making some changes, last week I had been playing with some cute tech. You can see that down here, playing with Savage Feast, Sea Legs, and Rally the Coast Guard. It was cool when it came together. It was usually awkward when it didn't. Savage Feast is an okay card on its own. I never really like it if we don't have agility and rum. Sea Legs is a 3 for 6. It isn't a brute. It's a yellow, so it doesn't always pitch well, it doesn't always attack well, and Rally the Coast Guard is usually never good. Outside of specific circumstances where we're discarding Beast Within or Sea Legs, or maybe we're able to discard a non-block to block for 5. Overall, it just isn't where I want it to be compared to playing more Wild Rides, Swing Big in the 60, and then having room for more hate cards like Erase Face, Cast Bones in certain matchups, and then Challenge the Alpha. Was the Spice from Shizuoka. Also, let me know how the music volume is, if it's too loud, too soft. We're trying background music today compared to last week where we didn't have it. I just think there's going to be some dead air and I want to fill it with something. Challenge the Alpha is the Spice. I had thought about this card for the KO Mirror. I originally didn't like it as much as something like a Weakest Link, which also has use into Dash.io. And as KO lists, or maybe moving back towards playing our Pearls. This list in particular has 3 Bear Fangs and 6 Wild Rides. Weakest Link has some viability in the KO Mirror as well. But if Rhinar is a real deck, and it seems to be based on how well it converted in Shizuoka, then Challenge the Alpha has a wider range of targets. It will always hit something in KO, which Weakest Link isn't guaranteed to do. The last time we really saw KO in heavy hitters, he was also playing Yellow Bear Fangs, Pulping was in the 60, Yellow Pulping was something that people were playing, so Weakest Link was a lot better against KO, but I think Challenge the Alpha is at least something I want to test. The one change I made from the Shizuoka list is instead of playing Null Rune Boots and Beaten Trackers, I'm playing Null Rune Gloves and Beaten Trackers. The reason being that just looking at the 80, from Shizuoka top 8, I didn't know what Beaten Trackers was there for. Historically, it's very good against Prism. I'm really not expecting to see Prism at all right now. I don't think she has a very good matchup spread at the upper level, and especially if KO is coming back, we have Swing Big, Show of Strength, Buck Wild, Reckless Stampede, Strongest Survive as poppers for Triumph, and then all of our other 6s as poppers for anything else. We have a massive armor suite. A lot of our cards block for 3. Prism just isn't getting heralds through. So I didn't know what Beaten Trackers was here for, but I've spoken to Tegan over on Flesh and Bed, and they think that it's really good into Kano, which I agree with. It helps you waste Kano a lot better than you would with Scabskin Leathers, or if you were playing Null Rune Boots, then you would be able to with Gauntlets of Tyrannicus Rex. So I'm playing Beaten Trackers for Kano, which means that I have to play Null Rune Gloves. This list has 27 blues in it. I really want AB3. I don't want to just sit on AB2 with Null Rune Boots for maybe Florian. We need to be converting those blues into preventing wildfire damage, and then floodgates damage, and then blazing aether damage. It's very possible to do if we can't outright win the race against Kano, which of course is what we're trying to do. Aside from that, we are playing 27 blues. This is something that Yuki Lee Bender recommended 2 weeks ago when she published her initial KO list. I didn't think it was good. I thought it was a meme. In the heavy hitters meta, we were playing 21 blues. I could have seen going up to 24 because we have cards like Buck Wild and Strongest Survive that we need blues for. We really want to guarantee that we're getting 2 blues in a hand, but I have come around. I'm on 27, the reason being that our blues are good, and they weren't good before. So in addition to the old staples, Agile Windup, Assault and Battery, Mighty Windup, Run Roughshod, Smash Instinct, we now have Buck Wild, Smashing Ground, Strongest Survive, Vigorous Smash Up, which are all great. We get the Vigor from Vigorous Smash Up. Blue Strongest Survive is something that Syndra needs to respect. Maybe even the Earth Heroes need to respect, honestly. Smashing Ground is blue Command and Conquer if we have a Might token, or if we are able to pitch a blue into something like a Wild Ride, float a resource, activate Gauntlets, and then send Smashing Ground for 6 as Chainlink 2. Buck Wild is the standout card from Super Slam. It is the most impressive, especially in red, letting us go super wide without needing to risk draw discard. Lets us put a blue into pitch for Gauntlets. But the point is, the reason that we can play 27 blues is that our blues are good. And if I draw a hand of 4 blues, it's usually easier to get value of than a hand of 4 reds. So I am hedging towards getting the most value out of my bad draws. Ideally, we want 2 blues and 2 reds in any given hand, or 2 blues, a Wild Ride, yellow, and a Swing Big, or Blood Rush, some combination involving 2 blues. But if we do draw 3 blues or 4 blues, that is better than the alternative of drawing 3 reds into yellow or 4 reds, which usually converts to a 3-card 9, 3-card 8, even a 3-card 6. And that is just game losing compared to 4 blues, which is usually getting us 9 value out of blocks and then an extra 3 or 4 out of Mandible Claw. So that's why we're playing 27 blues. Blues are good, and we get more value out of 4 blues than 4 reds. But that's the list. Again, this is the 80 from Shizuoka Top 8. I'm not going to talk much more about it, besides to say that this is now my public KO list. There's a link in the video description. You can also use, this should work. Didn't work. We'll work on that. How to fix the chat command so that you can use the det command to bring mine up. Let's see if I can even fix it right now. You know, compelling live stream, television, probably not. We'll work on that for the next stream. The important thing, what I wanted to bring up is this is a 48 card main board with a 27 card inventory. I will be updating my very minimal matchup guide as I go through. The reason that I like the 48 card main board, you just pick the 4 best cards for whatever matchup you're playing at the time, and we'll see that as we continue to go through. So let me even pull up Talishar now, and we can start jamming some games. Am I playing KO in Battle-Hardened Sonoma? The answer is no. And there are 2 reasons for that. Which we can get into. One is I don't have enough confidence in my ability to beat Gravy Bones and Gravy Bones and Florian as of now. Pulping goes in, not a raise face. We want, I guess, Reckless Stampede. A little iffy on this matchup. So the reason that I am not playing KO, the Florian and the Gravy matchups, which coming out of Shizuoka were both atrocious. Day 1 Shizuoka, the Gravy Bones matchup for KO was a 35%. The Florian matchup was a 20%, which is like so atrociously bad. You put a Chum in the graveyard, that is unfortunate. We can get around that. We have this Wild Ride that is going to nicely clean up Chum. And I don't have the KO reps to feel comfortable with these really bad matchups. I'm pretty sure if I had more practice, I could bring that Florian 20% to a 40% against most Florians, maybe bring that Gravy to a 50% against most Gravies. But without the reps already, it's hard for me to do, and at least locally, we have a lot of Florian players. I'm expecting to see that matchup quite a bit. Let's see, if you're going to play the Chum, I don't want to block with Blood Rush Bellow. I think I need to if you attack with it. I could block with the Mighty Windup. Oh, you're just activating the ability to put a Rigor Mortis into the graveyard. Okay, that is totally fine. We'll go ahead and discard this Mighty Windup. We'll make a Might. This is going to do a number of things. If I play this Blood Rush Bellow and discard Wild Ride, it'll let me kill Chum with the Mandible Claw. I do think I'm locked into playing Blood Rush here, as much as I don't want to. I need to deal with this Chum. I also need to attack Gravy's face. I don't have a safe way to play the Wild Ride and guarantee that I'm not going to discard this Blood Rush Bellow. So we're just going to fire that off. I lost my little chat. Hey Plague Hive, hey Dizzle. I do need to take my crown in Philly. We'll see, I'm not playing a ton of Living Legend currently. Discarding the Wild Ride is unfortunate. This is also pretty unfortunate. I am going to go ahead. Let's see, so if I Mandible Claw the Chum, I am playing into Fearless Confrontation, which means I am actually going to hedge on the side of safety. I'm going to tap Gauntlets of Tyrannical Rex, and then send the Mandible Claw into Chum. I can then play Command and Conquer. I'm giving Gravy the opportunity to block with Balance of Justice before breaking it, but I don't really have a better way to sequence this turn. Discarding the Wild Ride was really unfortunate. I would have loved to be able to send that. In addition to this Mandible Claw, I do need to kill the Chum rather than risk not killing the Chum. I know that we are in an ideal world, we are sending damage at Gravy, letting them activate the Chum and then killing the Chum because we get a card out of Gravy. But I'd rather send the CNC at Gravy's face, make Gravy respect this, as opposed to sending the Claw at Gravy, letting him discard an ally, something with Watery Grave, and then sending CNC at Chum. And I do need to kill Chum. Chum cannot be allowed to stick around for multiple turns, just accruing value. The safe play there was Gauntlets of Tyrannical Rex, playing around Fearless Confrontation. I would love to have been able to send CNC at Gravy for 7, but again, we need to kill Chum, and if Fearless Confrontation blows out the Mandible Claw, that's so horrendously bad for me. I'm still sending CNC for 7 at Gravy, and like, hey, I'm happy that the Chum at least can't attack me on Gravy's turn, but it's not good. So we get the Balance, we get Hook, we get a Vasti. Let's see if Gravy is going to break Balance. We have drawn 2 cards this turn, and Balance has now gotten its full value. Gravy not going to break Balance of Justice tells me that they are perfectly confident and comfortable playing out a 4-card hand. Our hand is fine. All right, we've got Conqueror coming for 8 with Go Again. We are just going to block this. Unfortunately, we need to put quite a few cards in front of this because our hand only blocks for 5. Wild Ride and Bear Fangs here really not being effective. And I want to keep this blue so that I can actually play out this Command and Conquer. I'd also like to play this Wild Ride so that I can send damage at Gravy and then play the Command and Conquer. Because I want to play Command and Conquer, I'm going to block with Flesh Bag here. Also going to block with Sash and Gauntlets. I'm giving more than I want to because I need this blue. And neither of these reds block. If one of these was a 3 block, I would have been perfectly happy to put 6 and Flesh Bag in front of the Conqueror. It can no longer do that. So, assuming that Wild Ride hits, we are going to be able to play Command and Conquer as well. That's fine. I would have preferred this Wild Ride instead of this Bear Fang so that I could have activated Tyrannical Rex, but I at least do still get to threaten Gravy's arsenal. Gravy only has 3 block value on armor, and we have not drawn 2 cards this turn, so Gravy will not be able to activate Balance of Justice. We'll be back in just a second. My window is open so that my sweet bunny boy can look outside and feel the breeze on his fur, but it is now blowing my office door closed. Gravy correctly taking the 7 from Wild Ride means that he likely doesn't get punished by Command and Conquer, can just give us 2 cards. So I dislike Crown of Providence sideboard to play into decks like Gravy and Florian. It isn't that I dislike Crown of Providence into Gravy and Florian, it's that Scowling Fleshbag is so much better than any other piece of equipment that I could possibly play. Hey Tommy. Like, the defensive value from Scowling Fleshbag is just too good. It blocks 2, it takes a card away. We potentially did not get very much value there because Gravy arsenaled a Sawbones and likely was just going to arsenal it anyway, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, like, I'm fine hedging on that. Fleshbag is just, it's too good to not play, and then we end up losing a sideboard slot to Crown of Providence. The only time I'm not playing Scowling Fleshbag is against Verdance or Kano, where I'm playing Skullhorn. Sawbones attacking for 6. I know, Scribble, it doesn't work. I'm gonna figure it out. Let me go ahead and grab this link. There we go. Put that there. We've got the Sawbones coming in for 6. It does have a Loop the Hold attached to it. I would have to discard if this hits. I don't want to. I also don't want Gravy to make it gold. I'm going to block for 6. My turn is going to be Mandible Claw the Sawbones and then Arsenal this Wild Ride. And that does 2 things. It puts Go Again into Arsenal. It clears the ally. If there's Fearless Confrontation here, we get blown out. Exactly, Alec. The Fleshbag just helps me do the thing. Oh, I forgot that out of Might. Fearless Confrontation does not play around Mandible Claw. The other thing that Fleshbag does that I don't give it enough credit for, and we saw this in the last turn, is if I am playing a Command and Conquer, or if I have a Command and Conquer in hand, yeah, there's the Conqueror. Unfortunate. And I can't really, I suppose I can block around it. Reckless Stampede here, again, really not showing its worth. This has happened to me a few times already. Jittery Bones discards Rigor Mortis off the top. We're going to have an ally coming in after this. Tear Limb from Limb. I saw it in the Shizuoka list. That's another difference between my list and that one. The reason I don't like it is it's a miss. Like, I'm sure it's good for Florian. It might be that I need to high roll Florian, but I just don't like it. Rigor Mortis attacking for 6. Reckless Stampede doesn't have a block value, so I can't do anything about that. I am just going to play the safe game and look for a better hand where I don't have to block around Conqueror. We are just going to clear the Rigor Mortis, do some filtering, and reset. Hopefully Gravy can't either convert the next hand very well, or it's just damage and I can take that opportunity to catch up. I don't think we're in a great spot this game. At the same time, we have seen 2 conquer the high seas. All right, this hand is really good if we can put it together. I am legally allowed to block with Show of Strength. At the same time, I don't need to because I will have multiple opportunities. When I think about No Fear to evade Felling Plow, again, it's a miss again. So I never want to play more than 6 non-attacks in my deck. Against Florian and Verdance, I'm playing Cast Bones and Bloodrush Bellow. So then we're between, am I playing No Fear or Cast Bones? I think Cast Bones is the better card. All right, this is great. I love to see Sawbones being played from hand. Unless Gravy can pull an action point out of somewhere, the turn just ends, so that's great. We now have the 5-card Bloodrush Bellow with Beast Within and Wild Ride and Arsenal. We're the greatest players in the world. So let's see what we draw from Beast Within. A blue is great. Depending on what the Bloodrush draws, we might not even need to, break Savage Sash. I don't think I'm going to. Here we have an interesting sequencing choice. I think I'm going to start killing Sawbones. This also uses my 2 resources, which means that my Wild Ride from Arsenal is much more likely. Is your cat snore play testing with you again? He might be sleeping. No, he's awake right now. You can't see him behind my green screen, which is maybe a reason to not have the green screen. He is just chilling. Yeah, we're gonna kill the Sawbones first. We just can't let it live. If it was any other ally, I might consider just leaving it alone, pushing 5 more damage against Gravy's face. All right, we get the Balance of Justice being broken. Let's see if Wild Ride is good enough to hit the 50% on Beast Within. We're the greatest players in the world. Can we draw something with Go again? We can't. So we only get to go 2 chain links wide, unfortunately. Now we have a question of if we are going to prioritize sending damage with Show of Strength, or if we're going to prioritize Disruption with Smashing Ground. I think we could also send Stronger Survive. The problem is I don't want to give Gravy another discard outlet. I think what we are going to do here, certainly break the chain first, activate Tyrannical Rex. So we can send Show of Strength for 11, putting Gravy to potentially 12 to our 30. We would Arsenal Smashing Ground to keep these 2 in hand, or we can send Smashing Ground for 8. Threaten Gravy's Arsenal. It's Scabs. It's never Scabs time. I will go to my grave before rolling Scabs, but it would be very good. I'm not going to give up 11 damage for Scabs. Or do we send Smashing Ground? Let's do it. We're going to send Smashing Ground for 8 here. The effect is active. This is threatening Gravy's Arsenal. No. No, I never roll Scabs. You know what Scabs does? Scabs blocks for 3. Blood in the Water from Arsenal. All right. Well, we tried. Blood in the Water does not discard from the top or hand. That feels fine. Keeping the Beast Within might have been a bad call. We just draw more blues, so we're totally fine. But as far as being able to play out a functional hand of cards, I really prefer blues in KO because we have Buck Wild, we have Show of Strength. I want to be able to activate Tyrannical Rex. If we drew into like a Wild Ride, I would for sure want to increase my chances of having a blue in hand so that I can claw Show of Strength. I know, Eugene is a better player than I am. Discarding Prismatic Leyline feels pretty good. Playing out Rigor Mortis, activating Hook. Gravy has made a gold this turn, which means that I do need to block here. We are in an interesting position, so I do need to block this. I don't want Gravy to get a second gold. We're definitely blocking with Beast Within. I could block with Vigorous Smash Up. The problem is that the Vigor doesn't really do anything for me. So if I wanted to convert this hand, I can just Break Sash, Buck Wild, Show of Strength. Outside of that, I need to decide if I want to kill Rigor Mortis here. It's the smart, disciplined play. Alternatively, I could block with Beast Within, do damage and kill Rigor Mortis, but I would have to give Gravy a gold. And I keep the Show of Strength in Arsenal, it doesn't go again. I think I'm going to take the greedy line here. I'll take 3 damage, I'll give Gravy a second gold. And the reason is that I just can't really convert a 2-card hand very well. I can't Buck Wild and Claw Rigor Mortis. In this case, I am giving Gravy 3 points on me, a second gold. This is all bad, but I also now get to send a Buck Wild for 8 at Gravy's face and kill the Rigor Mortis, which is not something I would have gotten to do before. There's also a world where I send Show of Strength for 9. If Gravy takes this, goes to 14. The Show of Strength for 9 puts him into lethal for any of my attacks. But I don't want to leave this Rigor Mortis. The Rigor Mortis plus Hook, Rigor Mortis plus Loot the Hold, Rigor Mortis plus Avasti is just too much potential value for me to feel comfortable leaving it alive. So we make the disciplined play, slightly disciplined play. Again, the very disciplined play would have been to not give Gravy this second gold. This doesn't matter. Rigor Mortis has 1. We just saw a Fearless Confrontation used to block with. If these are both Fearless Confrontations, we still kill the Rigor Mortis without pitching into Gauntlets of Tyrannical Rex. But currently there is no punishment for me breaking the chain. Gravy hasn't like blocked with armor that I don't want him to be able to block with a second time. So break the chain, activate Tyrannical Rex. There's a world where we needed to play around Fearless Confrontation for some reason. Let's just pretend that we live in that world, get in the habit of breaking the chain, activating Gauntlets. This hand is fine, potentially. Tipple coming in for 1, discards Anka, that's fine. I am more concerned about the follow-up with Hook activation. Again, between Bare Fangs and Reckless Stampede, this hand doesn't block particularly well, and we need to keep blues so that we can play the cards that we have available. This might be a Sash turn where I can, depending on what Gravy does, I can Sash, Buckwild, the Anka, probably Bare Fangs at Gravy. Gravy activation, spends a gold. Let's see what Gravy's going to put into the bin. A Sawbones. So now probably looking at Break Chain, Sawbones, Gold-Baited Hook, Dead Threads, attack with Sawbones for 6. I don't know that I'm allowed to block that. Alright, Anka for 5 is something that I can consider blocking. God, I wish Reckless Stampede could actually block here. If either of these could block for 3, I would do 3 block, Rex, Scab Skins, prevent the gold, prevent the 5, break Sash, Buckwild the Anka, Show of Strength the Gravy. Because I can't do that, I need to decide if I'm being disciplined or if I am being a little greedier. This plays into Fearless Confrontation, unfortunately. If I was going to block for 5 here, I don't have a Might, so I can only attack Anka for 3, assuming that I pitch these 2 to attack with Mandible Claw. And if there's a Fearless Confrontation, of which we've seen 1, I don't believe we've seen another one used to pitch, and I know Justin Ku's list plays 3, we get pretty blown out, letting Gravy keep an ally on the board. I really don't want to let... If I had toughness tokens here, that would be pretty good. Imagine if I wasn't playing Reckless Stampede. I'm going to have to take a look at the sideboard after this and see, is there any other card that I can play in that spot? This is such a bad hand of cards. What we could do is block for 5. We then Show of Strength the Anka, pitching these 2, Arsenal Buckwild. That feels really bad. Let's give our opponent a thinking just to let them know that we aren't trolling them. If we take 5, go to 21, give Gravy a 3rd gold, our turn is Break Sash, Buckwild, Gauntlet, Bare Fangs, kill the Anka, send 9 at face. Let's do it. I've been told I need to be more aggressive in this matchup, and it could be that this is an opportunity where we say, you know what, we can kill the Anka, we can give Gravy the gold, which I don't like. We also aren't playing into Anka's effect, so we're going to break Sash. I'm going to Buckwild the Anka. If Gravy activates Anka in response, then I have an out, because I can play Show of Strength targeting Gravy. I did target Anka. I don't need to play the Bare Fangs, is my point. I have Reckless Stampede that I can throw at Gravy. I have Show of Strength that I can throw at Gravy. I have a way to not draw a discard here, because I don't want to discard to Anka's effect. I'd rather Bare Fangs because it's the most value. Cool. It's the most value I can get out of my hand. It is a 2 cost 9 because we make a Might. But if Gravy's going to discard, so that I would have to discard what I draw, then we just play something where I don't have to discard. I get to break the chain. Activate Tyrannical Rex. Would I rather have a Bare Fangs in Arsenal or a Show of Strength in Arsenal? Would I rather get more guaranteed damage or send Reckless Stampede? That is an interesting question, considering that Gravy has 2 allies in grave and needs to be able to pay for them. I'm assuming it's going to be play blue, pitch to ally. I don't think Gravy wants to block here, so we're going to send Show of Strength. Show of Strength for 9. We're going to Arsenal Bear Fangs, which I think is the better card than Reckless Stampede. Just we get more guaranteed damage. Considering that we're putting Gravy down to 11, this could be wrong. It could be that I'm supposed to Arsenal Reckless Stampede. Just say this is the point of the game where Gravy is going to start blocking, and I want him to get punished for it. But Bear Fangs is more guaranteed value. It's more upfront damage. We draw into a Buckwild, which is nice. This may, again, if one of these was a blue, I feel a lot better about this hand. If I still had Sash, I would feel a lot better about this hand. This may be a time where I need to, again, just disrespect Gravy. Hey, you're gonna make a gold. That's fine. I'm gonna throw a bunch of damage at your face where I get to just Buckwild Bear Fangs. And I'm assuming we're gonna see Chum. If it's not Chum, then I feel a lot better just throwing damage at Gravy's face. This hand does 15 up front, makes a might on the back end. Unfortunately, I don't get to keep an arsenal. Again, just a bunch of rares. Hey, Huggy. We'll see what Gravy does. If it's Chum, I think I need to kill the Chum. It is, in fact, Chum. Oh, you're just going to double ally here. Okay, now things get more interesting. I have not seen Third Conqueror. I can also not really block a Conqueror. I think I need to kill Chum, but we're also in the position where I could Buckwild Gravy, let him discard something to Chum. But I'm only coming at if I miss off the top, then Seabones can protect Chum. It's an interesting call. I could also keep my arsenal and Buckwild Chum, claw Sawbones, and let Gravy struggle to convert this hand. How much go again do I have left? I've seen 3 red Wild Rides, 2 yellow Wild Rides. No, I discarded this one. So I have 2 yellow Wild Rides and a blue Buckwild left, and some wind up so I could claw go again. I think I do want to start being aggressive here. We're going to send a Buckwild at Gravy. If he uses Chum's effect, then I will throw the Bear Fangs at Chum. If he just does a bunch of blocking, then I'm probably going to leave these 2 alone. Just push a bunch of damage and say as soon as I find go again, I can kill you, make Gravy play your game. I have been told that I'm not aggressive enough against Gravy, and I need to be more aggressive. Gotta chart the high seas. If we also see a Sink Below or a Blood in the Water here, then Alright, we have the Chum activation. That's fine. So now we will Bear Fangs the Chum. We hit off the top. That is our last Wild Ride, which is unfortunate. Oh, we do still have a yellow one. So we are able to kill Chum. We are going to make a might. Sawbones is still alive, which I don't love. But Gravy's on a 2-card hand. Is at 7. We're still at 20. We have a Blood Rush left. We do find Pulpings. I forgot I had the Pulpings. Attacking with Sawbones. This is a spot where I need to take damage. Did have the Fearless Confrontation, so we would have got blown out if we missed off the Bear Fangs. Interesting choice here. I could send Pulping at Gravy and this threatens lethal. If this is a defense reaction, then we get blown out. We have only seen 3 D-reacts so far. I believe this list has 2 left. I'm going to, again, force Gravy to play my game. I'm going to send Pulping at Gravy. If he has the D-react, then we're in trouble, but we should still be okay. And also rip a Blood Rush off the top and not be okay. So we hit. Bun desperately wants to leave. Sunken Treasure used for blocks. Let's see if Gravy has the D-Reactant arsenal to blow us out, even if he does. We do still have another Pulping to tuck into our arsenal. We even have a card that blocks, so we can potentially play around Conqueror. Does have the D-Reactant arsenal. Unfortunate. I don't know that there was a better way. Hey, Darth Prentice. I don't know that there was a way I like to sequence this turn more. I mean, it could have just been kill Sawbones, claw Gravy, potentially Pulping again. Rabble for 6 is going to be followed by Sawbones for 8, which is lethal. I can put Scabs and Gauntlets in front. Gravy will need to pitch to attack with his Sawbones, which means that Pulping should be enough. I'm probably going to block with a Vigorous Smash Up, just so that I know what the top of my deck is to make sure that Pulping doesn't miss. Gravy has not put an ally into the graveyard this turn, so Dead Threads is currently not active. Look at his challenge the alpha against Brutemirs. Good, I assume. I haven't played with it yet. Activate Hook, attack with Sawbones, coming in for 8. I am going to block with a Vigorous Smash Up here. It's going to put me down to 3. I just need to know what the top card of my deck is. Oh, you can't clash with allies. Oops. I forgot about that. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us, because I would have just blocked with Leathers and gone to 1. Ignore Gravy. We're the luckiest gamers in the world that we didn't just discard this Blood Rush Bellow. Which I think I need to play here. The other line is run Roughshod Gravy's face, arsenal the Blood Rush Bellow. Comes down to how Gravy is going to deal with this Pulping. Gravy can just put a 3 in front of it, stay alive. I haven't tried Challenge the Alpha yet. I assume it's good. It's something that is in the list. I want to try it, but I don't know off the top of my head how good it is. Sunken Treasure makes another gold, does some nonsense. We put Gravy down to 3. So at this point, we could either run Roughshod for 5. The question is, what do we get if we don't? If we play this Blood Rush Bellow, what happens? We are hoping for like a blue and a 2 for 8 off the top. We send 5. We'd get a card and like a Sawbones activation. I am going to play the Blood Rush here. I'm going to see what happens. I don't know that this is right, especially considering that Anka is on the board. But it does get me a card from Gravy. Oh, or we just win the game on the spot. Because we have Dominate. I guess this potentially doesn't win if Gravy has Blood in the Water, an ally to a Watery Grave to discard, Sawbones, this Quick Dodge Flexors. This might not just win the game. In fact, I actually think it doesn't. I think 3, 4, 5, 7 puts Gravy to 2. With a 1-card hand, can just swing Anka. Better gamer. I am incredibly skilled at this game, it's true. All right. We're going to get a Sawbones. We're going to get a Flexors. Yep. Now, this does mean that I think the most Gravy can do this turn... Oh, and we immediately get rewarded for not arsenaling the card. I think the most Gravy can do here is just, like, hook Anka, which we are able to block, thankfully. Again. This stupid card that doesn't block. All right, Gravy's cracking gold. We're gonna see what he can find with it. Portside Exchange draws a card. Can develop another ally, but unless this is a Vasti, Gravy can't attack with multiple allies. The Rigor Mortis here is a little unfortunate because we would need to block with 2/3 blocks. Oh, Tip the Barkeep is very bad for us. I think this ends the game. Rigor Mortis, Rum, swing for 6, we block. Oh. We'll play it out, but yes, we did just lose the game. And this is why I'm not playing Kayo in Sonoma this weekend. I think he has a very bad Gravy matchup, and I'm not sure how to navigate it yet. And I don't think I can learn how to navigate it in 5 days while also learning how to navigate the Florian matchup, which is even worse. How do I do this math so poorly? I don't know. Anyway, we were just going to swing big 9 and hope that Gravy can't deal with this. The Rum didn't need to be used there, right? Because Gravy had Portside Exchanged, which was the blue to turn him on. Play the Rigor Mortis. Attack with the Rigor Mortis. We block 6. Still doesn't have the resource to pay for Anka, but at least gets to keep the Rum. Can now put... That's what we're hoping for. I'll even take 2 allies in hand. Keeps the Rum, blocks 9, keeps a blue, Rum, Sawbones Rigor. I feel like I should be dead. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, because the Tip and the Portside were played in the same turn. I feel like Gravy didn't need to run there. But I'm no Gravy player. I play Smooth Brain aggro decks. Okay. Is it Sink Below? Blood in the Water. Alright. That should be the last defense reaction. If this is just in Ku's list, I think it was playing... Oh, a Quicken. We were supposed... This is extremely greedy. A Quicken. We were supposed to attack with the yeah. Okay. This is... Oh, attack action cards. Attack with what? Oh, it doesn't trigger allies. Wow. This game just keeps going. All right. We are in a little... Oh, right. We're at 3. Okay. Oh my god. So we get to block. Go to 2. We get to... Oh, we've seen all 3 Blood Rushes. Okay, so we just Bare Fangs here. Bare Fangs, drawn to another Bare Fangs, coming in for 8. This should get 3 cards out of Gravy. We get to Arsenal Bare Fangs. The next one will come in for 9. We are maybe at a point where we can fatigue Gravy with damage. If we only have 1 attack coming in every turn. Oh, this MFer. Let's see. Let's see what Gravy's got. Now, we are potentially in a spot where the Reckless Stampede can win the game. Depends on what Gravy can do with all of these cards. I don't feel great about this. How many Avastis have we seen? 2, which means there should be a 3rd one, which will give Gravy the ability to give the allies go again. Literally any attack will also kill us. There's the Avasti. Okay. Matchup is definitely winnable, but my goodness, Reckless Stampede consistently felt terrible, so we are not going to play that in future gravies. We are not going to play Reckless Stampede against Gravy. I don't know what we're supposed to play instead. It might just be Strongest Survive. It's a 3 for 7. It forces Gravy to discard something. It has block value. That was the biggest problem I was having with Reckless Stampede, is it didn't block, and I consistently needed it to block. Dorithia. Assume they're playing Dawnblade. We are... I always have the D-React, that's when I have to realize, yeah, I could have played around that differently. Jewel of Strength goes in. Strongest Survive definitely goes in. We will be playing Buckwild and not Pulping. And again, what is the last card? It's probably Cast Bones. That has a block value of 3. If we're in a spot where we just put a bunch of block in front of Dorithia, we have the 1-card play. My thinking about playing, it's 100% Syndra. We also just rip a Cast Bones off the top because we're God Gamers. We hit another Cast Bones, that's fine because we have a Buckwild, which just has Go Again. Rip the Cast Bones, which is fine, which means the top of my deck is Mighty Windup, Blue, Buckwild, double... Mighty Windup, Buckwild, Wild Ride, Blue, Strongest Survive. It's +3, D-Reacts aren't as good. Well, deal. How am I going to block this? What is my turn? My turn, I am intending to Buckwild for 12 Go Again into Strongest Survive. I could Arsenal the Cast Bones. I could also block 3, play the Cast Bones. It has 5 blues and 1 yellow. How much do I want to block this, as opposed to setting up a Cast Bones? I could block, put Strongest Survive in front of this. I guess that doesn't really do anything. I could block, send Buckwild. Depends on if I want to set an Arsenal, and I don't think I want to set a blue in Arsenal. The top of my deck is 3 blues and a Wild Ride, so it isn't actually the worst decision to Arsenal a blue. I think we're going to go ahead and block like this. Let's get a defense reaction out of, or an attack reaction out of Dorithia if she wants to keep this going. Puncture is fine. If she wants to break the bolters, that's okay. She still needs to pitch to attack with the Dawnblade a second time. We can keep a counter off of it. Correctly does not break bolters. I think that's a very good decision. Go ahead and attack with Buckwild for 12 Go Again. We'll follow up with Cast Bones. We're going to Arsenal Blue Strongest Survive, which isn't my best play, but we're going to play the Cast Bones. If I rolled and hit on Scabs, I win that game. There are so many games that if I roll and hit on Scabs, I win. And there are so many games where if I roll and hit a 1, I immediately lose. Especially because on that Blood Rush turn, if I rolled a 1, I'm giving up 11 damage. Don't come to me about Scab Skins. I understand how the math on Scab Skins works. I also understand how rolling a 1 works. The Cast Bones we hit. Showing 4 blues, a Swing Big, and a Wild Ride. Let's see if we draw into the Wild Ride. We do not, which means that the top 2 cards of my deck are Smash Instinct and Red Wild Ride. It's 3 times more likely you hit than you won. That's true. What am I doing this turn? I have all this might, so I want to attack with Strongest Survive. I am thinking that I'm just taking a bunch of damage, and my turn is going to be pitch Strongest Survive, play Strongest Survive, come in for 11 Go Again. That forces Dorithia to block it out entirely or discard a card. Break Chain, pitch Mighty Windup to Gauntlets, attack with Swing Big for 9. So yeah, we just take a bunch of damage here. That's fine. We can race Dorithia. I think I was not supposed to block out the Dawnblade last turn so that I could still have armor. So when I do have my big turn or need to reset, what does this do? You're giving it go again? Okay. Deal. Pitch into grains. Make the vigor. Don't make the vigor. Okay, which means you have a one. Okay, do make the vigor. So now we are in an interesting spot. Oh, especially if you're going to activate bracers. I can put Fleshbag Gauntlets in front of this, intimidate the last card, prevent the counter. That seems fine. I don't run D-Reacts. Only activate Scabskins when it would be funny. I haven't been considering playing for the memes, honestly. Strongest survive for 11 go again. A nice thing is Dorithia, unless she is playing CNC and happens to rip it here, she could give me all of her armor and a defense reaction to block out the 11. She could give me 4 cards from hand. She could give me 3 and crown. That's totally fine. I take that. I get Dorithia's entire turn. I also get crown, which is nice because we haven't played a Command and Conquer yet. Now we send Swing Big for 9. Suppose Dorithia could block this if she wanted to and bank the Quicken. It doesn't really help her on her next turn because the Vigor just goes into the Dawnblade and the Quicken gets burned, or hit turns a loss into a win. But I didn't know that at the time. That was like 4 turns before we died. Dawnblade for 3 is fine. This is probably a Sash turn, considering that I have the Wild Ride in hand and the Buckwild in arsenal. But we'll play the Blood Rush and see what happens. No Bolter's Break. Does not pitch into grains. Okay. Totally fine. Arsenal this. Get a 5-card hand. We get to do big damage. I am legally obligated to play Blood Rush here. I don't have a way to safely not play the Blood Rush and still setting up. Hey, Nick. What does this hand do? This hand goes pretty nuts. We break Sash. We get to send Buckwild for 7 go again. We get to send Buckwild, pitching the Vigorous, floating a resource for 9 go again. We get to send Bearfangs for 10. Yeah, sending my 25 damage turn seems pretty good. That, you know, coincidentally, happens to be Dorinthia's remaining life total. So we get wildly... We do spend our Sash. We're running very low on equipment. Can only block 2. The good news, Dawnblade does not have any counters on it, so I am not really concerned about losing this race anytime soon. I also get to put myself wildly ahead in this matchup. And we have seen, at this point, one Wild Ride, 3 Buckwilds. So we still have 3 Buckwilds and 5 Wild Rides left. Dorithia just blocks it out. Okay. Here's 10 more. Go up 20 life. Dorithia, unfortunately, does not lose counters from the Dawnblade, but again, we're up 20. She still has a bunch of armor left. Beating us in that regard. We are just trying to see how well we can convert our remaining hands. This one converts. This one converts. Does it convert well? No. Because we do need to attack with this Beast Within, so we are just... It's a 4-card 14. 4-card 13, which is on rate. You're pushing chip damage. The only... I don't want to well, we have seen a Command and Conquer. There is a world where we use this blue, pitch into Gauntlet, and then send Mandible Claw for 4 and arsenal the Beast Within. And if Dory CNCs us, then we just don't block it and we get our 5-card hand back. But if that doesn't happen, we're stuck with a Beast Within in our arsenal, which I really don't want. So I am trading an arsenal for 2 points of value here, but the arsenal that I am trading is really bad. So I'm fine with this. We put Dorithia down to 6. Any attack in our deck is now lethal. The hand that we draw into is not bad. Assuming we hit, we get to Wild Ride, followed by at least CNC or Show of Strength. If we discard one of our reds and rip a blue, then we get to send Mandible Claw as well. I assume Dory is just going to bank the grain here. And end the turn. We are still up 22 life. To send Wild Ride, I would love to see a blue, and either one of these, I would love to not discard that blue. What do I want to do instead? Do I want to Show Strength for 8, or do I want to CNC for 6? It depends on how Dorithia blocks its Wild Ride. If this is a D-React, I assume it gets used here to clear out, considering that we have not seen a CNC yet, or at least Dory hasn't. Going to 5, the Show of Strength here either gets 2 cards or card plus armor. CNC gets 2 cards or card plus armor. One of them threatens lethal, the other one does not. But we are chipping damage. Let's throw the CNC. This might be wrong. The right play here might just be... She's got no 6 attack cards? I know. Well, she does have the CNC, but I think if she blocks with the CNC, I'm pretty okay with it. I know, I'm supposed to threaten the guaranteed lethal, or at least the lethal that makes Dorithia care more. But I really don't mind getting the armor. You have. Oh, you just take 2? Okay. I thought it was going to be taken on the chin. Is it 3? We find a Blood Rush. I am hoping to keep this Buck Wild, but even if we don't, we find Run Roughshod. I could stop this. I could block 9, Arsenal of Blood Rush. But here's the thing. Oh, does it? Okay. That is let me fix that. Blau chess. Can I fix the description from here? I can indeed. Okay, try it now. Let's give a thinking. Had to fix that. Okay. Now, we are in a position where we could just block this out, Arsenal of Blood Rush setup. We're also in a position where we could take 8, let Dory break bolters, let her attack with Dawnblade again, keep going, take a bunch of damage to send Blood Rush with Claw. Let's do it. Let's just take some damage. Why not? We're aggro. Surely playing safe here doesn't lose us the game. Or surely playing aggressively here doesn't lose us the game. Surely Dory can't find 20 points of damage off the top 2 cards of her deck. Well, especially not if she's going to bank for Vigor. Okay. Attack for 6. Yeah, that's fine. Roll Scabskins, now is the time. Now is when we need it. Draw the card, unless that's exactly... No, you have no out. I was going to say Twinning Blade, but she doesn't have to go again. And now we Blood Rush. We discard Buckwild because we're terrible players. So at minimum, we get to Claw for 6. Run Roughshod for 7. I think we'll Gauntlet here. Use the breakpoint. Could also swing big for 10 following this. It just depends on how good how much do I want to win the game this turn versus how much do I want my arsenal to not be terrible. As far as draw discard, we have 4 Wild Rides left in our deck and 2 Blood Rushes. It's possible that we find the... Oh, okay, well, if you're going to just go to 1, then yeah, I will send 10. Show me a D-React. I don't like putting this card in my arsenal because it is often very difficult to get value out of. That seems pretty good. Can I do that in every game? Could I have done that in the gravy game? See, like this hand, okay, we would have, depending on how they block, we're probably just sending Strongest Survive, over pitching to clear these bad cards out of my hand, and then we find the Wild Ride, and that lets me get value. out of the, sure. That lets me get value out of the run roughshod. Hard to know. I do think sending the CNC there was wrong. Oh god. Okay. I do think I want to go second into gravy. Alright, we're running it back. Buckwild for sure. Pulping was fine. Show of strength, good. And we're playing Strong to Survive instead of Reckless Stampede. This should be good. It blocks for 0, and that was the problem that I was having in the first gravy game, where I just couldn't block anything. So I have to throw armor in front of the Conqueror, which I don't want to do. I have to let gravy get gold, which I don't want to do. This hand is pretty good. Blocks early, I can cycle this might. We have a Buckwild, so I at least get to convert some damage. I could, if I wanted to, I could Arsenal the Buckwild to set up for a future turn. I pitch Vigorous Smash Up into Mandible Claw for 3, discard Mighty Windup, make 2 mites, give it go again, and then send Run Roughshod. Okay. Okay, this attacks for 8. So yes, I am going to take that line. I was trying to figure out, okay, can I play around Fearless Confrontation if I send this all at the Whaler? And the answer is yes. Clash doesn't work on allies, it's true. Have I tried switching the Wild Rides with Flex Speed Buckwild? I briefly contemplated the idea of yellow Buckwild. I'm actually playing the Wild Rides instead of Flex Speed. This is the Shizuoka top 8 list, which does not have any flex speeds and does have the 3 yellow wild rides. Flex speed has been fine. It does things, it works well with the might, it lets you go wider on blood rush turns, but yellow wild ride has basically guaranteed go again, and it also pitches for your other attacks, which flex speed doesn't do. I'm a little iffy on either one. Okay, this gravy is playing towards fatigue. Oh my god, they always have the Conqueror. This one doesn't have go again, at least. What does this hand do? This hand kind of is unfortunate. They've not developed an ally, so this hand can do block, block. I am allowed to block with Strong to Survive or Smash Instinct. Unfortunately, this only blocks 6. I would love if this blocked 7, so I could just Strongest Survive, discard Agile Windup. I do have this line, which lets me Mandible Claw, discard Wine. No, that doesn't work. This might be the line, block 7, Strongest Survive, overpitch Buckwild just to put it back in my deck. If this is going to go to fatigue, then I do need to try to maintain some go again in my deck. So I don't hate this. It isn't great. I wish that I could have blocked with the Buckwild so that I could or whatever this was, I could have blocked with it. So that I could Strongest Survive for 9, discard the Windup, set up more go again. So I'm not committed to sending this Buckwild, but I'll do what I can. This gravy's on the Mage Master boots, which is interesting. So we'll see how that affects the outcome of this game. This gravy can double ally, but if our previous gravy hadn't been able to block with Quick Dodge Flexes, we would have won the game. We'll see how it goes. I have very few reps in this matchup. Hey, I got no yellow for you to bottom, for you to flip over, so you don't get a gold out of me. Blocking for 6, are you going to discard, or are you going to show me a Conqueror? Or I guess, another Whaler. Blood in the Water, okay. Are you going to show me an attack? Or are you going to Blood in the Water? What will you show me, Mr. Bones? Sea legs. All right. Understandable. This hand is a hand. So we've got 3 followed by 9, followed by 6. And I could do the funny thing here and strand this gravy with sea legs and arsenal. What am I doing this turn? I am attacking with Buckwild, pitching Buckwild to attack with Assault and Battery, discarding Beast Within to get Might, Agility, and a random card for Arsenal. Oh, we're for sure. I would love to strand this gravy with the sea legs. Maybe this is too aggressive a use of my flesh bag. Time to watch stream during cardio. Oh, Ian, I'm going to put you to sleep. You're not supposed to watch me do anything while doing physical activity. That's not what I do. That's not what my voice is for. Flex Speed doesn't have the discard for the Might. It can also be blown out by -1 effects like Fearless Confrontation. That is true. Flex Speed also requires a critical mass of draw discard effect so that you can actually bank Might more of the time. Let's see, do we draw? Hey, we got a good card. Always love to see a good card off of the random draw discard at the end of the turn. Fortunately, unfortunately, we now have an agility, which we don't need because we have a Buckwild. But there is absolutely a world where we get to go 3 chain links wide here with Savage Sash. All right, Tipple coming in for 1. Go again, discarding, I assume, an ally because we haven't seen one yet. There's the Sawbones. We take 1. We have another hand that just doesn't block on a turn where I probably need it to. Because this Sawbones is going to attack with Hook. And based on the quality of the hand, I think I need to take the damage. The opener is going to be Pulping. We discard Smashing Ground. I have no way to really abuse the agility this turn. I don't have a Bare Fangs or a Swing Big or something that doesn't have Go Again that I would like to have Go Again. But at least the agility turns the Pulping into something with guaranteed Go Again so that if we miss off the top, or if Gravy plays this plays Sawbones, uses Dead Threads, or plays Sawbones, pitches blue, attacks with Sea Legs, arsenals a D-React, that the Pulping doesn't get blown out by that. Steven, you're done with your meeting. Now you can sit and chat and tell me to roll scabs. Steven, you missed the first game, which was also against Gravy. We had a critical opportunity to roll scabs, and I didn't do it, and then it lost me the game. So maybe one more person in chat telling me to roll scabs would have been enough. And now we'll never know. Swell coming in for 3, flips a blue. Hook hasn't been used yet. I could put Beast Within, Rex, and Leathers in front of whatever gets hooked, and I'm probably going to. Let's see if Gravy is going to clear the Sea Legs or is going to attack with the Sawbones. Uses the Mage Masters, plays the Anka, uses the Hook, attacks with Sawbones. Okay, now we have an interesting choice where I can block like this. I can send the Pulping. I can clear the allies. The question is, do I want to clear the allies? I definitely want to clear the Sawbones. I don't know that I need to clear the Anka. I think I probably need to. And I need to... I actually put one back in. This is the Shizuoka list. So we're definitely blocking like this. I need Gravy to not have a gold, considering that Gravy does not currently have a gold. I need to clear the Sawbones. The question is, how am I clearing the Sawbones? I can open with pulping. I believe I'm supposed to open with Mandible Claw, targeting the Sawbones, because Mandible Claw will get go again from agility and attacks for 4. So it plays around Sawbones plus Fearless Confrontation. I am then supposed to send the pulping at Anka to kill it. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to send Claw at Sawbones. We're going to overpitch my go again. Wait, that's wrong. Oh my god. I'm thinking about the best way to do this. If I want to keep pulping or wild ride in my deck. I think I want to keep pulping. So this is how we're going to pitch to make that happen. I am intentionally keeping this Buck Wild in my arsenal. We kill the Sawbones. We put the Wild Ride into the Anka. Yeah, this is on 27 blues. How's Kayo feeling after Super Slam? Definitely better, Brandon. I don't know if it's... So we have the data from Shizuoka, at least the day one data that I've seen. Kayo is currently 20% into Florian, which is obviously very bad. Limpet, which is obviously very bad. Sick. Hey, that's why we sent the Wild Ride second, so that we wouldn't get punished by discarding a Blood Rush off the top of our deck. But man, I would have liked to see that Blood Rush in my next hand. Yes, Kayo is 20% into Florian on day one of Shizuoka, which means that I am not playing it for... Hey, we got another one. Which means that I'm not playing it for Sonoma. Not because I don't think that I can win, but because I am not confident enough that I can win without having enough reps into Florian. I'm pretty sure that I could get to a 40-60 against the average Florian, which I'm happy with. Because then, you know, we can hopefully convert that into a skill gap where I can make it 50-50, or the Florian doesn't know how to play the KO matchup that well, and that's how I get points on it. But what I could do instead is just play Syndra, which has like a 70-30 into Florian, where the onus is on Florian to beat me. What I don't like about Syndra is the Gravy matchup is a lot closer than it was. I am told the Verdance matchup is a lot closer than it was. And I don't like playing Ninja Mirrors because it really is like who drew better first, which is never where I want to be. Limpet comes in for 2. I'm assuming Dead Thread Sea Legs. Oh, you pitched Sawbones. That's even better. I am allowed to arsenal this Blood Rush because I get to send Buck Wild Gauntlet CNC. Coming in for 14, arsenal the Blood Rush. I've been told I'm supposed to leave the Limpet alive. Like, never kill the Limpet unless it just works out that that's a better option or my best option. I could play the Blood Rush, which is probably fine to do. Gravy doesn't have an arsenal, hasn't blocked with the balance yet. This would be the balance turn. Gravy has no allies in graveyard currently. So this might be the Blood Rush turn, but yeah, we could just set it up to be better. I'm gonna run it. The CNC is a little unfortunate, but I do get to push a ton of damage here, and I don't need to waste any of it clearing Gravy's board. So what do I get to do with this? I get to Buck Wild Float 2, Gauntlet Mandible Claw. So that didn't really work out. I can Claw CNC. No, I need to Buck Wild here. It's unfortunate. I could Sash. Sash would get me to Buck Wild, Claw, CNC, Arsenal CNC. So that is 9, 14, 20 damage with an Arsenal. If I don't Sash, I send 9, 15. I'm happy to turn Sash into, I know, stupid CNC. I'm happy to turn Sash into 5 points of damage. So we'll send Buck Wild. Again, we are not killing Limpet. I've been told to just leave Limpet alive. Limpet will live all game. unless it just works out that I don't have a good way to spend a hand of cards. Getting 3 cards, 2 of which are armor. Gravy's going to break the balance. Sunken Treasure does get Gravy a gold because I do have a yellow. Right, Discord. I don't want to check Discord. What do you want? Let's run the Fade live. No, this is my Talishar day. I don't want to play the Kayo Mirror. I'm not even playing this deck in Sonoma. This is my Talishar Kayo day. Florable, what's your schedule on Thursday? When you get back from school, when can you play? Can you play at 4:30 PST? Because then I'll happily run Syndra into you. Gravy, discard a Swabby, give you a new card, that's fine. Any other allies you're okay with leaving alive all game? Definitely Oyston is one that I will historically leave alive all game. The math gets different on KO compared to Syndra, or like aggro decks with daggers, where I can just easily put one into a Limpet, but then Gravy's not playing Limpet against Syndra. Limpet for sure. I think pretty sure everything else is a must-kill ally. I can't leave Swabby alive. I can't leave Chum alive. Sawbones, Anka, Whaler. I think they all have to die. The real question, it usually depends on the state of the game. Like, do I have a significant life advantage? Does my hand convert really well offensively, but not so much on killing the allies? About Scuba, I'm told I do need to kill Scuba, or else Gravy is just going to loop Prismatic Leyline. It might be what this Gravy's trying to do, playing like 67 cards into me. We are going to actually think about my turn before I just rip it. I could Mandible Claw, pitch Mighty Windup, discard Agile Windup, make Might and Agility, float a resource, play CNC, pitch Pulping, Arsenal Wild Ride to set up for a future turn. I've seen 2 Conquerors, so I'm probably okay to keep an Arsenal around. I don't need to Wild Ride, pitch, Claw CNC. Let's do that. Let's set up and see what happens. Send the Mandible Claw for 4, discard Agile Windup, make Might and Agility. This could also be a situation where I am supposed to just play Wild Ride. I'll play the Pulping while I have the opportunity. Keep the CNC, which now has a Might and Agility to go with it. Yeah, I don't hate that. Just send some damage. Yeah, discard another Wild Ride, that's unfortunate. But we're pushing 6. Gravy's already given us a card. Let's see if Gravy wants to give us another. They do not. Put to 16. I have CNC for 7 go again at the start of my turn, which is very strong. Call to the Grave. I do even have cards that block so that I can protect against Conquer the High Seas. If he finds the Chum, Dead Threads Chum, send 4, Arsenal pass. Which would be great for me because I get to send CNC for 7 before Gravy can do anything with Chum. Gravy could also use the Rum to double ally here. I don't think they have the resources though. I guess they do if these are both blues. Gravy could. There's the Chum. Chum attacks. Or plays the Swabby pass. Okay. Chum attack. My turn is going to be CNC, Strongest Survive. CNC, Gauntlet, Strongest Survive. So I could block here. What blocking does is just give me 3 life back. What it does not do is give me an arsenal. Problem is I don't want any of these in my arsenal. I could discard the Mighty Windup to make 2 Mights. Is that better than is getting 2 offensive value out of Mighty Windup better than getting 3 defensive value out of Vigorous Smash Up? interesting question. Does this hand do anything else? I'm definitely leading with CNC. I could Tunic, Claw, Mighty Windup. That doesn't work if I have to kill the chum. I think this is the best way to use this hand. I know Vigorous Smash doesn't clash with allies. I'm intentionally doing that because I don't need a Vigor on my turn, and I'd rather not potentially give Gravy a Vigor. Definitely open with CNC for 7. Go again. Oh, Gravy did an Arsenal? All right, well that changes my decision quite a bit. Now we are going to send Strong Survive for 8. Go again. Threatening more damage, potentially putting Gravy into a position where he needs to discard something he doesn't want to do. If the chum gets activated, I can Gauntlet CNC it. If the chum doesn't get activated, that's a spot where I have to decide, hey, am I going to respect this chum or not? Okay, chum activation. I do need to Gauntlet it to play around Fearless Confrontation. Strongest Survive forces you to show me a Swabby. That's fine. This is the KO versus the world. I'm cheering for the world. You're not cheering for the world. You're not cheering against KO. You're cheering against me is the thing. And I know it. I'm aware. Alright, Gravy with Swabby and an unknown card. Just hard cast Swabby, that's fine. I have a choice. This is a spot where I do need to kill the Swabby, I think. Do I want to? And if that's the case, then we are just going to Assault and Battery, targeting Swabby, discard Assault and Battery, pitch Assault and Battery, discard Swing Big. We're going to keep Bare Fangs in the arsenal because it is a better attack to have in the arsenal. With Go again, it can turn on my Mandible Claw. Don't encourage him, Ian. I would boot all of you if I knew how to do that. Reset, put a Bare Fangs in arsenal. We only draw 1 blue, which is unfortunate. Restless Bones coming in for 6, potentially Go again. Has not put a blue into the bin yet. So I don't need to worry about this chum in graveyard. We now see a 3rd chum in pitch. Dead Threads attack with Limpet, pass. Hook Limpet. This is an easy way to turn... Oh, right, I don't have block failing the leathers. Okay, have a gold. Have a gold, chum. The reason I can't afford to block this is that my hand does not pitch very well for what I want to do, which is Bare Fangs into something else. And if I rip and keep a blue off the top of the deck, then I can work a Mandible Claw into my turn as well, which lets me threaten a ton of damage against Gravy, completely ignore the board, and just send, what is this, 8, 11, 19 damage with a potential arsenal. Gravy gets the gold, discards the Sawbones, does have an action point, would be able to play the Sawbones, can't attack with it, but chooses to keep a card for the arsenal. I am hoping to draw and keep a blue. I don't do that, but I will at least maybe get to keep a red in hand. We're 200% supposed to block that Limpet? Hell no. I don't block. I'm an aggro deck. But you're probably right. With Gravy at 8, I am sending the Bare Fangs, which should threaten lethal. I would like to keep this Buckwild and not discard... there we go. Well, Smash Instinct here is actually kind of not embarrassing. If I can put a Blood Rush together or like 3 Chain Links that Gravy has to block, then the Intimidate could actually win me the game. This is not the hand that does that. Play out and attack with Oyston. Oyston the Boyston. We can go ahead and block with Strongest Survive because this hand doesn't convert very well. I'm going to send Swing Big for 9, which should force at least 2 cards out of Gravy. We can... I don't think it matters which one of these I pitch. We are just waiting on a Blood Rush. We are waiting on more Go Again. We are waiting on something that is not Rolling Scabs that will force Gravy to put 3 cards in front of my damage and then get blown out by Smash Instinct. Gravy could also just take enough damage to go down to 2, where Smash Instinct for sure wins the game. Getting Dead Threads is a win. I'm assuming this is a D-React. Gravy going down to 1. Bold move. There's the Blood Rush. Imagine blocking this. This is sort of tragic. At the same time, I think we're fine. This puts us to 7. Gravy does not have a card to play. Would get a gold. Would be able to break the gold in order to draw. The problem is if I block this, then my hand does actual nothing. Whereas if I don't block this, I get to keep 4 cards with a Blood Rush and potentially just end the game. Literally just missing 2 damage for no reason. Oh, with the Dead Threads? Yeah. Oh no, it's true. The card in hand, let's see what Gravy can do with it. Immediately uses the gold, could break the rum, send 5, could even put a hook on it to make a gold, which in that case, I am supposed to block it. Oyston for 3, that's totally fine. Discarding Wild Ride because we're bad at this game. Let's see what we can find with Blood Rush. At minimum, I get to Mandible Claw into Gauntlet something. Those seem like good cards to Gauntlet into. Mandible Claw attacking for 5 into Show of Strength for 11. I don't know what to tell you. That should be GG. I guess it doesn't have to be. But we do get a GG. Therefore, because I won this game, all of my decisions were objectively correct. That's the way this works. If I had lost the game, all of my decisions would have been objectively incorrect, but because I won, they're objectively correct. So, I don't know what to tell you all. If you disagree with any of my decisions, that's a skill issue. New Kayo. What's up, Capamello? New Kayo. I guess I can try this card now? Challenge the Alpha, let's go. How's it going? We're doing well so far. Could just send a bunch of damage and hope that Kayo can't block or get the Flesh Bag early. Does this hand do anything if I don't want to Blood Rush? This hand does Arsenal Pass. Screw it. We full send. This is fine. Send 13 here. And if I can get ahead on the life total, that potentially puts Kayo into a bad spot. Sirens of Safe Harbor. Well, if I can't push extra damage, then I am in fact losing the game. Blue looking for scrap. Bonebreaker, make a might. Block it out. What a gamer. We are, in fact, losing this game. Let's see what Kayo can do with 4 cards and being up on life total to get himself booed. Before anyone comes at me for that play, I don't know this Kayo well enough to know how much I'm supposed to respect the turn 0 life game. This is the first time seeing Sirens of Safe Harbor on a list. I've seen Fiddler's Green. Fiddler's Green would have had him stay life neutral there. I do suck and I am losing. Blue looking for scrap. It's turned into 8 points of damage. Does this hand do? Pitch to Wild Ride. Hope to discard the Beast Within. If I don't, I still get to Strongest Survive at the end. And take 4 here. Do some limit testing. See how much I need to block new KO. Does not, in fact, play Show of Strength. So I now could put Beast Within, bring this to 7. I could put Armor in front, block it out. My turn is then... that could be the block. My turn can be Wild Ride, hope to keep this blue, Strongest Survive. If I don't keep the blue, that's pretty bad. So why don't I do this instead? Block like that, send the Strongest Survive for 8, Arsenal the Wild Ride, and set up a better turn. I do want to sink Buck Wild, because I already have the go again, and I don't want to draw a red if I can help it. Unfortunately, I don't get to use this Vigor for anything, because I don't already have a card in my pitch to turn on Gauntlets of Tyrannical Rex. Cash Armor early versus Archaeo is good to know. We get a full block, including Armor. I get to Arsenal this Wild Ride. The hand I draw into is pretty good. Mocking Blow coming in for 5 with a Vigor. No Tunic up. I'm assuming there's no follow-up here. What am I doing on my turn? Probably just Buck Wild into Strongest Survive and keep the Wild Ride. If I wanted to block, I block with Strongest Survive. That doesn't seem good. We'll take damage here and be able to send 14 back with an on-hit. Sigil of Solace. Putting KO up to 14 is spooky. We still have the Strongest Survive here, especially if KO is going to block. We might just get the hand and reset. Which doesn't particularly put me closer to lowering KO's life total, but does make him burn this Vigor, which I'm pretty excited about. So we just get the hand, get to reset with a 5-card hand and Wild Ride. We've already blocked with Savage Sash. You get to steal a token, which I don't have. Tunic Mandible Claw is pretty good. Go ahead and put Armor in front of this. I am going to Buck Wild Gauntlet CNC. Excited for the Battle Hardened this weekend? I am excited for the Battle Hardened this weekend. Good to see you, Alex. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and Buck Wild into CNC for 7. See if we can finally get cards away from Archaeo. If they flashback here, that's pretty bad for me. They don't know that. It's a 50% to just kill my turn. Bonebreaker into Show of Strength makes the might. We get the last of the armor. And that is 1 less piece of armor that KO gets to block with. Could give me 2-3 blocks and the leathers. That is what's going to happen. Another attempt to steal a token that I don't have. Mocking Blow for 5 is pretty good. This is a hand that I believe I want to... I can block with the Swing Big, which I don't think I need. If we rip a blue here, we're God Gamers. We, in fact, do not rip a blue. How are we feeling about KAD? I think it's fine. So far, I'm not super impressed with him. He can do some cool things. I'm more impressed with RKO out playing this game. Like, this just seems very good. Mocking Blow just consistently being a 0 for 5 has been good. Mid-range KO that gets to play a bunch of defense reactions is nice. Like, I was not confident in RKO, and the more I'm watching this game play out, the more I'm pretty interested in it. Live Go again. We don't have an arsenal. I think I have to Blood Rush here. I mean, this is just, like, consistent. This is just bad. I'm getting my butt kicked. I don't have a good way to stop it. This deck just blocks extremely well. I think I'm going to sit on this Blood Rush at least. Yeah, I don't know how I pivot this. Is at this point the problem. It seems like this is just a losing battle once KO has gotten ahead on life total. So we definitely made the mistake turn 0 by attacking, giving KO the opportunity to give life with, or to gain life with Silence of Safe Harbor. I assume Fiddler's Green is also somewhere in this list. Losing the die roll generally never a good thing. Big Bully attacking for 8. I mean, this is spooky too. This just being an instant, so I don't know if I'm supposed to play around Pummel or not. I think I am supposed to Fleshbag here to play around the Pummel. Oh, which I can't even do because Tunic is up, which means that we just say no blocks because we're going to have a big Blood Rush turn. And we do just get pummeled. Yeah, this is going terribly. I'm told he also struggles into Gravy Ice Shield. Like, that is a big problem with RKO in this meta, is that he does kind of just fall over to Gravy. What does this hand get to do? This hand gets to do Wild Ride into Gauntlet Smashing Ground and try to get the Arsenal at least. All right, Fleshbag being used, so I get to Gauntlet Mandible Claw, Arsenal, hopefully the Smashing Ground. Fleshbag doesn't play around KO ability because it's an instant. Unless you're referring to something else. But yeah, RKO could respond to the KO ability. Oh, that was wrong. We lose our 50%, so now we're going to have to Arsenal this Vigorous Smash Up, which I really don't want to do. Yeah, this feels terrible to play against. Very impressed by RKO so far. This is my second game against him? No, absolutely. Like, this just plays like what I want KO A&D to do most of the time, which is just block effectively and then play 2-card hands. Let's go ahead and block with Rex. Oh, you had a Vigor. Oh my god. Go ahead and Blood Rush here. Miss the draw discard because we're terrible players. Here we are going to roll Scabs because we need to, or we lose the game. Okay, now we have some actions that we can play with. We're going to break Savage Sash. We do have the action point, so we have 2. We do need to start with Bare Fangs. As much as I would like to cycle the Show of Strength out of my hand first to try and get the draw discard, we need to send the Bare Fangs first so that I can get Go Again on my Mandible Claw. At this point, the Smash Up is not good, but without Go Again, I need to activate Rex and then send Show of Strength, which is not only lethal, but actually has the potential to put me ahead on life total if KO doesn't want to give me a bunch of cards. Okay, Solace still puts me up. We finally are ahead on life total. We actually push a bunch of damage. Do not currently have go again. This is going to be bully tactics. Potentially. We'll see what the outside interference gets. So what this hand does currently is block for 6, send challenge the alpha for 8, where I need to stay above 2 so that I don't just die. You control 3 or more auras. The crowd boos you. That's 1. Do you have Cruel Ambition in Arsenal? Oh, you just needed to have go again. Okay. So I guess I'm just blocking. We'll give you leathers as well, so that when I take 2 to challenge the alpha, I don't fall to your life total, I will stay above you. Let's see what our opponent can do with 2 floating resources. Looking for scrap for 5. This does have go again. The go again doesn't do anything. So I can block for 3, go to 4. Challenge the alpha, puts me to 2 if it hits. Challenge still better than sending Vigorous Smash up. I do think this is the time to cash in Tyrannical Rex. I hate that this puts me to 2. When they discard... Oh, if it has 6 or more power, okay, they can't do that. I guess they could. Kayo is playing shows. We've seen 2 show of strength. I don't know if Swing Big is in this list. I know it's in some. You are able to block it out. That's very impressive. We do stay at 4, which is higher than their 3. We do find the go again. Swing Big for 8. It's pretty good when I can't block. I guess we'll go to 1. Cool. Only because someone told me one time that they really hate when I concede losing games. So we will send Claw, get blocked, and die. Yeah, this was extremely impressive. I definitely made a turn 0 mistake by attacking and letting my opponent get above me on life total. But this felt very bad to play into. This is like the only way I can use this hand. This Vigorous Smash Up in Arsenal has not been good at all this game. Which, you know, it is what it is. I guess there's a world where I could try to fatigue Kayo. I don't think we get there, because I have cards in my deck that don't block. I also say that like I have a choice at this point, like I can't just, like I don't have to just block every single thing that Kayo plays. Yeah, this is a very good showing for RKO. I'm gonna have to pull up Mansant's list and play this later. Thinking with me, I assume trying to decide if they respect Reckless Swing here. They could just take 2, go to 1. They could block 4, go to 2, stay above me on life total for the boo effect, and die if I have the Reckless Swing. How many 2-card plays have we seen at this point? Seen 2 Show of Strength, 2 Swing Big. Not fatiguing him, setting... Well, I could just... Yeah, I guess I can't just put 2 in front of everything. I kind of can. If at some point in this game, Kayo runs out of 2-card 8s, then I do actually get to keep 2 cards, which could potentially be enough to let me send a 2-card 8, which maybe, you know, maybe there's some world where I can actually put myself in a winning position, but I need them to draw very poorly. I need me to draw very specific combinations of cards. Doesn't seem likely. There's the Swing Big and a Mocking Blow. Maybe the hand is just reds. Yeah, this ain't the hand I'm looking for, so we're gonna block with CNC. What's this? Tech action card. Gives the claw go again. Finds something. If it attacks her more than 3, I die. It could be bully tactics, intimidate a card, and if it intimidates this assault and battery, I die. If I get to keep 2 cards, oh, it's mocking blow. Okay, I die. Yeah, that was rough. All right, very good showing for RKO. Definitely a turn 0 misplay, but outside of that, I mean, that definitely lost me some value early. Got KO the tempo on... got KO the tempo on turn 0, but outside of that, just a strong deck. I sigh because I don't want to play against Olympia. I'll do it, but I don't want to. I don't know if Crossbones is even good in this matchup. Put in Reckless Stampede, historically very good against Warrior. Just being able to clash with Warriors who generally don't play attack reacts. I don't know if I need to fatigue this hero. I don't know if I need to respect this hero. I don't know that I need to care about this hero. Decimator Great Axe with 70 cards, okay. Was I 13 minutes away from where I would potentially end this stream and 43 minutes away from where I would definitely end this stream? Well, I guess that's what we're doing. I guess for 43 minutes, I am going to be playing this game. Decimator Great Axe. The first time this is defended by a non-equipment card each turn, have the base defend power of target defending card rounded up. I am blocking 8 on 8. I have won a clash. I do want to sink a Wild Ride for later, because I already have a Wild Ride. I have Vigor, I find a blue, so at minimum I get to do Wild Ride into a Swing Big. This is not the worst card for me to put in my arsenal. It's not my favorite card to put... Oh, never mind. I'm stupid. I get to Mandible Claw, Break Chain, Tyrannical Rex, Swing Big. Yeah, exactly, Alex. Get ready for this to be the last game that I play today. I hope we all have fun. I know one of us will definitely be having fun. Jesus. All right. I guess that's a fun way to play Flesh and Blood. Swing Big for 9. Let's even up the life totals. Don't lose to Olympia on stream like Acroblaze. I'm going to do my best. I'm pretty excited that I brought the cast bones at least. I can try to play around with fatigue here. Which means that I am going to pitch the Agile windup so that I can have late game go again. We are going to cast bone. We are going to discard the mighty windup to make 2 mites and give this go again. We are going to play cast bones. There will be at least 1 Ollie this weekend. Ugh. I know it's a legitimate way to play Flesh and Blood. It's just not the way I like to play Flesh and Blood. I have a bunch of cards on top of my deck. I have a Blue Buckwild and a Beast Within on top of my deck. Blue Buckwild and a Beast Within means that I get to Swing Big, pitch, Wild Ride, pitch, Mandible Claw. Alright, let's see. Do you have... No defense reactions. Or no attack reactions. Alright, Swing Big for 16, go again. That is a way to start a turn of Flesh and Blood. Olympia just turbo blocking out? Could potentially get the quick in here. For 9, do you react? Unmovable. Alright, so we get to do free damage for the rest of this turn. We'll put another Agile windup into the bottom of our deck. We're the greatest Flesh and Blood players in the world. Get to push 6. I am going to break Chain. I'm going to Tyrannicus Rex. I'm going to Mandible Claw. I'm going to Arsenal this Buckwild. Is this the greatest thing I could do with 2 cards? Probably not, but I do like having Go Again in my arsenal. I do like that we've chewed through, I guess, all of Olympia's armor? Maybe? I don't know. Hey, we found another Cast Bones. I really wish any of these cards was a blue. That is unfortunate. I do not have a good way to convert this hand. I guess it's going to be this. Buckwild for 6 Cast Bones. I guess I could have just Cast Bones and passed the turn. But then I still just have 3 reds, and if I draw into another red, then my hand still doesn't do anything. Steelblade Shunt. I don't know Olympia well enough, but if you're playing Steelblade Shunt and we saw an Oasis Respite pitched at the start of the game, I'm a little surprised they're not on Tunic. Just rip 4 blues and 2 Reckless Stampedes. Pitch stacking here might matter. That's a little unfortunate that I don't draw a Reckless Stampede with all of these mites. We are going to Strongest Survive, Strongest Survive. Strongest Survive, Gauntlet Claw. Is on Tunic, just not yet. Fair. You do have a card in Arsenal. Like, I could send the Smash Instinct first. Intimidate a card. That seems reasonable. We're pushing the same amount of damage. We just strand Olympia with hopefully something bad. This does give me an opportunity. I could Arsenal the Strongest Survive if I wanted to. I have 2 Reckless Stampedes on the top of my deck, so I'm not super thrilled about putting a 3-cost red into my arsenal, knowing that I will draw 2 reds. Olympia wanting to keep this card tells me that I actually am going to Strongest Survive here. I don't give Olympia a choice of whether to keep this card or not. Oasis Respite, sure. Go to 30, get whatever this is back. I don't think the Arsenal there, or that pitch particularly matters. We're going to save this Blood Rush, especially considering that I need to put massive turns together. We are going to sit on a Reckless Stampede because my pitch stack is atrocious and I don't want to put another red down there. Reckless with Blood Rush is also pretty good. Potentially forces Olympia to block in a way that he doesn't want to. This is going to force Olympia to block in a way that he doesn't want to. I'm assuming this deck doesn't play attack actions, or if it does, there aren't very many of them. And if there are some, it does not have greater than 6 power. Looking for a blue on top of my deck. Although Wild Ride is very tempting, considering that I am about to Blood Rush. This is a Scabs matchup, you're definitely right. We'll keep that Wild Ride on top. This can be a Sash turn for sure. Get 2 damage through, get 2 more damage through. We Arsenal the Blood Rush. We found a blue. This is very likely a Sash turn. Unfortunately, because of the Great Axe, I can't block with the Sash. Yep, how's the defending? I don't think this works, right? I can't put Sash in front of Great Axe or it'll break. So we just have to take 10 here. We do get 2 Blood Rush. Discarding the Wild Ride is unfortunate. What do I get to do with this hand? I get to Buck Wild, float 2, Reckless Stampede, float none, Arsenal Bearfangs, or I break Sash. I get to Buckwild Mandible Claw Reckless Stampede. That seems better. I don't think this is a Scab's turn. There's a world where I roll here to try to get the extra action points so I can Reckless Bearfangs. That just seems really bad. Attack with the Mandible Claw. Because this is Bearfangs, I'm not going to attack with this. I don't want to risk discarding my Stampede and drawing a bad blue like we saw in the last game. Yeah, we're just going to Stampede here and keep the Arsenal. I could have pitched this into Gauntlet to make sure that I push an extra point of damage where I can. But I think having the Arsenal is better. Drawing into more Go Again. I have seen 2 Cast Bones, 1 Blood Rush. There is a decent chance that if I Wild Ride here, pitch, overpitch to keep Buckwild in my deck, that I draw discard a non-attack and my turn ends. So we're going to send Buckwild first, and then play Bearfangs from hand, pitching the Wild Ride, keeping the Bearfangs in Arsenal. If I do draw discard a Cast Bones or a Blood Rush, I'm pretty sad about it, but on average that shouldn't happen. I also keep a Wild Ride in my deck. And we just consistently push damage over the top of whatever Olympia is doing. Steel Blade Shunt doesn't deal me damage. They take 2, go to 10. Blood Rush, drawing Blood Rush is unfortunate. I think I need to do it. If I don't see another line here unless I roll Scabs. But this seems like a very good opportunity to try to high roll, which I'm able to do. Finding the Cast Bones here is a little unfortunate, so I think this now is an opportunity. Well, definitely send Claw first. Pitch the Run Roughshod. I still have quite a few wind-ups left in my deck, so wind-up, discard, Claw, discard, wind up, run roughshod is a viable play. This is where I could grow a pair, roll Scab Skins, hit the 4, Strongest Survive Cast Bones. I could also send 10 here, force 2 cards out of Olympia's hand. We are, in fact, going to be gamers. That's why we don't roll Scabs, Ian. That's why I don't do it. Because that happens. This guy gonna tell me to roll Scabs. But Agile Windup bails us out. We get to spend Strongest Survive for 8. Olympia has to respect this. We get to Cast Bones as the follow-up. We still have this Bearfangs in Arsenal. If I rip a that was not a good Scabs turn. Okay. It was a great Scabs turn. I get to Cast Bones there? And tell me that wasn't a good Scabs. According to you Brute Gamers, every turn is a good Scabs turn. Command and Conquer? He does have the Command and Conquer. Guess that's where we're cashing in armor. I have a Vigorous Smash Up and a Reckless Stampede on the top of my deck. What do I get to do with that? I get to go block, block, block. Sit on all, use all of my armor finally. I get to Bearfangs and hope that I rip a Reckless Stampede. We hit the Reckless. This should be enough to put the game away. Olympia has to give me another card to block this. Taking 5, question mark? Blocking 13, going to 7. If this is a defense reaction, then we are in trouble. Then we don't just win the game on the spot. which means that I do this. I guess I'm supposed to assume that if this was a D-React, they would have played it. My god. Have you ever seen someone who has such a good read on their opponent's decisions? This hand attacks for 6, attacks for 8. How many D-Reacts have we seen so far? It doesn't feel like it's been 43 minutes. Never punished because your opponent is Olympia and they suck. True. It's never been more true. Sigil of Solace puts them up to 4. This will be enough to just end the game on the spot. Oh, I didn't need to break the chain there. I thought I had the extra resource. Hey, we did it. We beat Olympia. I mean, do we feel good about this, chat? Like, is this what we feel good about, you know? Like, oh, 13.69 damage. Oh, look at our big turn. Like, no, I'm interested to see what happens with Olympia. It's the Azalea fan base, you know? The cult of Azalea was bad for 2 years, and they got outsiders, and suddenly she was much better. Maybe Olympia does get some sort of something later that turns it into a real, I know, crowning achievement, truly. We're not going to end the stream on that. That was one of the fab games of all time. We got to go out on something a little grander than that. It could be a loss, even. It can't be oh my god. Okay. If this is a fatigue Jarl, I'll scream. Do I need Reckless Stampede? I'm not going to play Reckless Stampede. You know what? Okay, cool. It's mid-range. Hey, we did it. Every time you beat a fatigue yak, you increase the chances someone stops playing fatigue. You're so right. Oh my god. You're so right. That's absolutely 100% true. Let's see what Jarl decides to do. If Jarl just passes here, I will allow them to pass, because there's a world where I discard Mighty Windup and then don't draw a blue, and now my hand is very bad. But if I keep this blue, I get to Buck Wild into Gauntlet Swing Big, which is a 4-card 16, which is very good. If they Bastion here, I don't get to do that. So will give me 2 Frostbites, question mark? Oh, oops. Sorry. I thought of an actual good line based on what my opponent is doing. I get to discard Mighty Windup in response to all of this, so that I don't need to deal with, I can just Arsenal and totally blank my opponent's 2 Frostbites. I mean, if my opponent is now not going to block with the All-in Ice Cap, then I am going to actually play out the Swing Big. I just don't get to Mandible Claw, or don't get to Gauntlet first. But this is fine. Yeah, if they were going to block with the Ice Cap and give me 2 Frostbites, I would have discarded the Mighty Windup, made 2 mine to Arsenal the Swing Big. You're going to block with your Civic Steps on my last attack of the chain? Okay. Well, sure. That, yeah, understandable. We get to come in with the old 4-card 12. We're up tremendous. The Quicken here could have been good. Pitching Terrace Under, so you have a pummel. This is like so bad. I'm going to block with the Beast Within. If they pummel me, I will discard this Beast Within. And see what I draw. Right. That's also not good. This hand is not good. So I'm debilitated. I don't have a great way to use the Mandible Claw. I don't have a great way to use any of this hand. I can't use the Quicken very well. I guess I'm going to Assault and Battery, discard Agile Windup, and like this doesn't matter. I will withhold information from my opponent. If they want to block with Stalagmite here for some reason, I will give them the opportunity. Why not discard both? What does that mean? I don't know what you mean, Steven. How could I have discarded both? Oh my god. We're so far ahead. Holy guacamole. What did you think I was going to do with my one card and no resources? My god, we're gaming. And they don't have Stalagmite anymore? We're up tremendous. So you're telling me this is a pummel. You're telling me this is a pummel, or I'm guessing this is the pummel. Do I want to respect the possibility that this is the pummel and block with Fleshbag? I can not safely block with Vigorous Smash up here, and the reason is if I win the clash, I will get the Vigor. Because the idea is block with the Smash Up, have these 3 cards in hand, I get to guarantee discard beast within the Blood Rush Bellow. The reason I cannot do that is if I get a Vigor, then I cannot pitch the blue to the Blood Rush. I will play the Blood Rush with the floating and might discard the blue instead of the beast with it. I could also just give armor here. If this is a pummel and this isn't, I am super ahead, but I don't get the guaranteed beast within discard. So we are going to block like this. I'll give the Fleshbag. If this is the pummel, that's unfortunate. I at least get to discard beast within. I am debilitated, which is fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and open with Blood Rush Bellow because I can't safely play the Wild Ride. That's kind of unfortunate. We will roll right here. Oh my god, we're god gamers. The reason I did this is that I had the agility. So if I do discard the Cast Bones to the Wild Ride, I still get go again, and there's a world where I draw a blue or a yellow and get to follow up with Mandible Claw. If I don't discard the Cast Bones, I get to now, suppose, arsenal the cast. Oh, you didn't block with a nice card. I get to play the Cast Bones. Not the best use of a Blood Rush, but that was a bit of an unfortunate turn. Show of Strength and red Wild Ride on the top of my deck. I guess the way to block that turn would have been to just not give the Fleshbag. I could have taken the damage. I could have given Fleshbag, Sash, Leathers to block the Crush, or rather block Gauntlet, Sash, Leathers to block the Crush. If they have the pummel, I discard the beast within, I get my card back, and now I get to Blood Rush with a 4-card hand instead of a 3-card hand, which would have been better. I am thinking this is going to be a Sash turn. Could put all my equipment in front of this. I'm already frostbitten. All I'm doing is turning on Forgive and Forget, for the block. As a Sash turn, this is pretty good. I pay 1 to Sash to pay through the Frostbite. I pitch Vigorous Smash up. I play Show of Strength with my agility. I have a floating resource. I have Run Roughshod. This seems fine. This is going to be a big turn. If they pummel me, okay. My mistake this game so far has been aggressively blocking with my armor because, honestly, I forgot that Jarl has text, and I'm supposed to not put a bunch of my armor in front of his attacks. So yes, blocking with the Fleshbag there was incorrect. In this case, I now need to Mandible Claw. Yeah, I guess I don't get to go. This might have been a bad Sash turn. Now I'm really thinking about it. Let's see, the show of strength would have been 3. I would have had none floating. I don't get to work a claw into the turn. So yeah, I just sashed for 4 damage. 3 damage? Yeah, that's pretty bad. I just didn't really think that one through. 4 damage. I mean, sash for 6 overall is not terrible. The worst thing I have going for me now is that I have 2 exposed armor slots. We'll see how much this Jarl can play into that. Jarl is clearly doing ice heavy build. I'm up 15, which I feel fine about. I also have 3 blues, which can play around the Frostbite to let me play this Cast Bones. I can also potentially arsenal this Smash Instinct. There's the 3rd Pommel. Pitching red into an Ice Quake makes me feel pretty good. Attacking for 6. It is tragic that I have this Frostbite here. I can block with the Strongest Survive, take 3, go to 20, get a 2nd Frostbite, which lets me play Cast Bones, pitch the Mighty Wind-Up, float a resource that doesn't matter, arsenal the Smash Instinct, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Just to set up for a big turn where I can lead with Intimidate. The top of my deck is a blue Beast Within and a red Strongest Survive. Good lord. I mean, if they're on Icequake.deck, that makes sense. Buckling Blow. This is 10, you have none floating. This will give me a 2nd Frostbite, which means that I am paying too much for this Smash Instinct. I needed one of these to be a red. If I take this, you put a counter on, I don't know, leathers. I get to Smash Instinct for 11, go again, pitch, pitch. I can also just do it without the Smash Instinct. I can go Strongest Survive, pitch Buckwild into Mandible Claw. I think I'm taking this damage, as blocking here means that I can't effectively pay for any of my stuff. But the double Frostbite here is hard, with only 2 blues in hand. So this will attack for 11 Intimidate. You will need to give a card, block with 2 cards in order to stay alive, which seems fine. Oh, I do get to arsenal a Buckwild here. Unfortunately, I know that the top of my deck is 2 reds. I would remember this if we were playing in paper. I know it's a red Strongest Survive. I don't remember if the other card... I think it's a red Buckwild and a red Strongest Survive, which is a little unfortunate. As far as I can't really set either of these in Arsenal because it will be difficult for me to pay for either one of them. So depending on how Jarl blocks, I might just be using the floating to pitch into Rex and then pitch 2 reds to attack with Mandible Claw. No. If Jarl blocks 6, takes 5, goes to 3. Yeah, I guess the only way this turn makes sense is that I arsenal something. I don't think him being at 2 makes much of a difference here. If I had Reckless Swing, then yeah, I would have absolutely gone for the play that puts him to 2 instead of 3, but... okay, it was a blue Buckwild. Okay, we're fine. We're gaming. We're chilling. This should be enough to end the game, unless Jarl draws Blizzard. So I get to Buck Wild, Strongest Survive, Arsenal Wild Ride. I get to potentially work Tyrannical Rex into this if I want to. I can pay into the Blizzard and then pay into Mandible Claw. Goes to 2. We are going to send Strongest Survive for 8. Does have the potential to end this game. You blocked 6 on 7. I'm going to assume you don't have a defense reaction. So we are going to send Strongest Survive for 8, which if these both block 3 and this isn't a D-react, should just win the game. If nothing else, Jarl needs to block this out or else discard a card to Strongest Survive. Alright. And we got there against an Oaken Old that just came a little bit too late. Yeah, so that was fine. Obligatory 6-7. Yeah, so that was a game. Yeah, Cast Bones there was sick. Historically very good into mid-range Guardian and very good into Fatigue. You just play it a lot slower. Yeah, Kayo just doing Kayo things against Guardian, which has always been a good matchup and seems to continue to be. So I'm going to call it there. Thank you everyone for hanging out and streaming for a little over 2 hours now. Yeah, thank you all for being here. My intention with the stream is to stream every Monday, Thursday. Monday at least, I want to do 10 a.m. streams, get some European viewers in here, try to exclusively stream Talishar just because I can be more vocal and outgoing and energetic. I know Noah's shaking his head, outgoing and energetic for Lupinefiasco. Watch the Thursday stream where I have to be silent because I want my opponents to have time to think. Yeah, ideally Monday I'm doing Talishar gameplay. Thursday 4:30 stream I'm doing gameplay against someone I know, so a local testing partner. Try to get some higher quality games. As we have noted, Talishar is not always great. Today I was playing Kayo. I want to switch that up. If you've been watching me for a long time, you know that I have the tendency to one trick, to fixate on certain heroes, which has not really served me well recently as those heroes fall out of favor in the meta, and then I have to scramble to pick up something else, and I don't have reps, so I don't know the matchups. So week to week, and even stream to stream, I want to start mixing it up, working in more top-tier heroes, other aggro decks. Thursday I'll likely be playing Syndra, because she is what I'm going to bring to Battle Hardened this weekend. I want to get some Slippy gameplay in here too, so that when the Armory deck comes out in December, I'm not totally rusty on the hero. But hopefully I can get some more like Florian, Verdance, the other mainstream heroes, except for Gravy, because I don't want Noah to just berate me the entire stream. Head over to my Discord, there's a link in the comments. Eventually I'm going to start putting up weekly polls so that you can vote on the hero you want me to see, or you want me to play, within a certain range. But thank you all for being here. While I have you all, shop through Hammurabi TCG. Hamel, he has the best deals on all Flesh and Blood cards. He's where I get all of my hookups. Let me see if I can actually... I'm not going to be able to find it. Hammurabi TCG, Hamel. Hit him up on Blue Sky, Discord, email, or Twitter. Watch any of my videos, gameplay reviews, where I have his contact information. And he will give you a good deal. Let him know what you need. He's a sponsor of mine, my sole sponsor. And I really appreciate him repping the channel. And by the time you see me again, I'll have his actual contact information for you. So catch me again on Thursday, 4:30. I'll let you know if that changes. Otherwise, until the next time I see you all, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And take care.